Hello, Hemlockers. Um, we all knew this day would come that you would see Jessica making a video outside in the snow. Madeleine Thien is not someone that I've ever read before, and this was Jason's pick, and I'm so glad that he picked it. He's also kind of encouraged me to read more of her work, and I'm definitely going to be doing that at some point in the near future. What I really loved about Dogs at the Perimeter was how kind of stream of consciousness it was, but when I was going back through my notes, because I make notes on books that I read, I was reading through and I was kind of I'm going to sound awful now, but color coordinating my notes, and I noticed that throughout the whole thing there was a lot of themes, and themes is something that I often discuss when we talk here on Hello Hemlock, and so I was going to talk more about how the book made me feel instead of focusing on all the amazing themes that are in it. I think I just loved the reading experience, unlike Jason, who said that it was kind of arresting and it took him a long time to get through, or at least longer than he's used to. I read it so quickly because I was just kind of gobbling it all up, and I could not believe how smooth the entire reading process was, even though there were a lot of material that kind of made you cringe, and a lot of the things that these people were going through was pretty awful, and the kind of confusion that you feel as a child mixed with the confusion you feel with essentially a coup going on. It all just kind of melted together, and one of the themes or thematic elements, I guess, is water, and that kind of weaves in and out of the tale and becomes a significance for certain characters at certain points. And what I found so intriguing about that was the fact that the book was, or rather the way she wrote the book, was just like a flowing river, and there was no real start or end point. She could have started the book in the character's life at any point, really. She began it at essentially this kind of crux in the character's life, and kind of melded a bunch of worlds together, and that was totally suitable. But at the same time, she probably could have gotten away with choosing any point to really start, because just like a river, there is no start and end point. There's no definitive beginning. When you show up to a river, there's just water flowing through. I really loved how dreamlike her writing was as well, and how the characters would be talking about what horrible realities they were going through, and then have this imagination in which they see their father climbing through a window, or their long lost brother suddenly appearing and having these really surreal conversations with them. And I think that she's able to capture what imagination is in a really realistic and detailed kind of way. Like, she almost anchors down what a child's imagination is like. There were a lot of favorite lines from the book, and I think I'll probably share those in the Goodreads group. There were so many phrases and pieces of the story that just blew me away. I really loved how at the perfect moment she would mention the things that her mother taught her about the soul, and all of the kind of stories and mythical elements that kind of went with, tying a string around your wrist and your child's wrist so that their soul doesn't get lost. I especially loved that the character was so horribly flawed. I loved that she was essentially abandoning her life, and she was letting go piece by piece of her current family. And when you learn things like that as a child, how to forget and how to let go and how to survive by pretending that you didn't exist before, that you didn't come from this family of love and commitment, how could you not then have your own family and do the very same thing? I don't know what Madeleine Thien's childhood was like, and it's something that I'm kind of interested in seeing if she's spoken about a lot, because she really hits the nail on the head for how children think, or at least how I think children think, and how they would kind of represent themselves in a world where they're being told that they can't come from anywhere. They can't be anyone's child. They can't be anyone's brother or sister. Please let me know in the comments or on the Goodreads page, whatever you're more comfortable with, how you liked Dogs of the Perimeter. And if you haven't read it yet, let me know if you would consider it. I, again, would definitely recommend it. I'm pretty sure Jason would also recommend it. We both kind of have a big crush on Madeleine Thien at the moment. And yeah, we're kind of enamored by the reading experience that we had. And once again, I'm going to gush a little bit about Hello Hemlock and the fact that we, as friends and as book lovers, are able to share in these really beautiful stories together. And the fact that we're all reading it together in this kind of book club atmosphere means that we're all kind of experiencing this at the same time. And this was a really emotional book and a really kind of journey that we all kind of took together. So thanks for those of you who did read it back in October. We really appreciate your participation. That's all for me for November. I'm officially wrapping this up. Just so you guys know, Karate is a little busy with some really exciting personal stuff going on. So she is going to be a little MIA over the next few months, but don't worry, we have you covered. It's not just going to be Jason and I forever, I promise. We've actually got a couple of guest stars that are going to be appearing in the new year. So we really can't wait to get you in touch with them and keep this ball rolling. If you haven't started already, December's read is Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood, and we are going to be discussing in the next couple of weeks the Lee Miracle short stories. This is our first Native fiction, it's our first First Nations fiction, and it is our first short stories that we are going to be discussing. So stick around for that in the next coming weeks. And please feel free, like I mentioned, to follow us on Twitter or join the Goodreads page. There's lots of discussion going on in both places, so be sure to follow us wherever and whenever you can. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a great winter. Bye.